Viewers, I don't need to tell you this. For years, Narendra Modi was the subject of what can only be called a legal inquisition. At least that's what Modi had called it when he was Chief Minister and then later when he became Prime Minister. He was questioned relentlessly for a full day by a Supreme Court appointed SIT, or a Special Investigation Team. The entire investigation on whether he was complicit in the Gujarat 2002 riots happened under the Congress government, the UPA. The CBI was entrusted with the investigation. This was, of course, the same CBI that was called the Congress's caged parrot by the Supreme Court. The Congress had no love lost for Modi. Sonia Gandhi had called him a maut ka saudagar in the 2007 run-up to the elections. The UPA had lobbied foreign governments to not grant Modi a visa to travel to UK and the United States. It was unprecedented. No Indian party has collaborated with foreign governments to besmirch a chief minister elected by Indian voters in this way, viewers. In short, there was every incentive for the Congress to send Modi to jail. But the Supreme Court monitored SIT, couldn't find evidence against Modi, not a shred. Last year, in fact, the Supreme Court pulled up several activists for framing Modi. Some of the activists, viewers, are featured in the BBC documentary, and their SC-branded false testimonies have been used to suggest Modi is guilty of conspiring to kill Muslims in the post-Godhra riots in Gujarat in 2002. As if that wasn't enough, the BBC then also dredged up an intelligence report prepared by British High Commission team of diplomats to indict Modi. The report that was marked restricted was never released or shared by the UK Foreign Office. Remember, viewers, remember, this was not a secret report. It was a merely restricted one. So by the admission of the British government, it wasn't of great significance. Interestingly, the British Foreign Office at the time was led by Jack Straw. Yes, the same Jack Straw who faked intelligence on Iraq to trigger the nation's invasion, which led to the massacre of thousands of innocent Muslims. Has anyone ever tried Jack Straw? Has a documentary been made on Jack Straw? Viewers, no. He's been given a free pass. He sits and pontificates with Indian journalists, viewers, and talks about the complicity of Modi. Think about it, viewers, think about it. The centre now, rightly or wrongly, in my opinion, wrongly, has banned the two-part BBC film suggesting that it was spreading fake propaganda and it had the potential to reopen wounds afresh and trigger communal violence. The government presently, the NDA government, has done what the UPA government had done, viewers, soon after it came to power in 2004. At that time, another Gujarat 2002 award-winning documentary called The Final Solution was banned by the then CBFC. Viewers, the UPA backed the ban. A few months later, under pressure, it reversed the ban. But when, viewers, the ban was invoked, it was also invoked on the same grounds, that that particular documentary could spark communal tensions. But viewers, an ecosystem comprising of the usual suspects wants to screen the film. Self-styled woke students from the left across JNU, Jadavpur and Jamia Millia University believe that the Supreme Court has got it wrong. BBC's documentary is the gospel. It's the truth. Of course, viewers, a large number of opposition parties have also said that the BBC documentary is the absolute truth. Down south, at least 2 governments are thinking of airing this documentary that the BBC itself hasn't released in India. Rahul Gandhi himself, viewers, has come out and said that truth has a funny way of emerging, clearly indicating that he also doesn't trust the Supreme Court's judgment. Last night there were clashes in JNU as the students illegally screened the film. In Jamia, left student union SFI organizers were detained for trying to screen a banned series without university's permission. Those are the visuals. Students clashed with the police and raised slogans of Inqilab Zindabad. Watch what transpired. Here's a small clip. Well, viewers, the Jamia VC, the Vice Chancellor, has warned the left body that no cost will they be allowed to disrupt peace on campus. Meanwhile, the clashes have triggered a bitter war of words. That's also been taking place in the backdrop between the BJP's spokespeople and, of course, viewers, opposition leaders. But, viewers, before we proceed, let me bring to you what the Supreme Court said in its order absolving Narendra Modi. Let's break it down for you, point by point. We have not, in any way, viewers, paraphrased any of this. These are the SC's words, and they speak for themselves. The Supreme Court justices said, appears to us that a coalesced effort of the disgruntled officials of Gujarat and others was to create sensation by making revelations which were false to their own knowledge. The falsity of their claims has been fully exposed by the SIT after a thorough investigation. In the name of protest petition, appellants was also indirectly questioning the decision rendered by the court in other cases. She was obviously doing so under dictation of someone. Who was this, viewers? This was one of the survivors of this particular riot. Contents of the protest petition are founded on the affidavits filed by those persons whose versions have been found to be replete with falsehoods. Who are these people, viewers? They find mention in the BBC documentary. Their word is accepted, even though the Supreme Court has said this. Timely corrective measures taken by the state government in right earnest. Repeated public assurances by the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi that guilty will be punished and to maintain peace. Beyond comprehension, to bear suspicion about the meeting of minds of named offenders and hatching of conspiracy by the state at the highest level as alleged, much less grave or strong suspicion as being the quintessence for sending the accused for trial for an offence of criminal conspiracy. The SIT had noted that inaction and negligence of the erring officials had been taken note of at the appropriate level, including by initiating departmental action against them. Very important, viewers. Such inaction or negligence cannot pass the muster of hatching of a criminal conspiracy. SIT has been able to collate materials indicative of the amount of hard work and planning of state functionaries in their attempt to control. Yes, SIT has been able to collate materials indicative of the amount of hard work and planning of state functionaries in their attempt to control the spontaneous evolving situation of mass violence. So here, viewers, the SIT has been cited by the Supreme Court and all the information that it had collated. This despite the handicap of administration, including the inadequate state police force required to be replenished with central forces and the army. Repeated appeals made by the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi publicly to maintain peace. So, viewers, here it was, the Supreme Court exonerating. It's not just the Supreme Court. The magistrate court in 2012 accepted SIT's final closure report. Viewers, had the UPA wanted, they could have gone up in appeal. Then, viewers, the Gujarat High Court upheld magistrate court's order, clean chit to Modi. SIT probe was monitored by the Supreme Court. Never forget this, viewers. In 2022, the Supreme Court upheld the magistrate court in the Gujarat High Court order, and Supreme Court said there was no pre-planned conspiracy behind the riots. That should have closed the chapter, but no, viewers. That hasn't happened. Whether it's Hyderabad Central University, whether it's JNU, whether it is Jamia, whether it is Kerala, where there was a screening by the DYFY in the Thiruvananthapuram Law College, and viewers, Jamia University today. All these universities are going to believe not the Supreme Court, but the BBC. Why, viewers? Is it because they want to try, in the year India is hosting, is at the helm of the presidency of the G20, are they want to spark communal tensions? Is that the agenda, viewers? It's a fundamental question. Let's ask some of these questions. Remember, viewers, I have no problems with this documentary being screened. It should be, in fact. The truth will be apparent to any sensible individual. Viewers, what we have a problem with is that there is a lobby of interested parties that refuse to accept the Supreme Court's verdict. Viewers, a BBC documentary. Are we so woebegone that we now need the white man's thappa to tell us who is guilty in our country and who is not? Are we so shackled by our colonialist mindset that we can't trust our own institutions? That's the fundamental question.